Hey, it's Ethan here at etrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install these Titan chain cable snow tire chains on the 2023 Yukon XL GMC. This is a 275/60/20 tire size, so that's what we're going to be doing in our case. These chains are typically going to be in an emergency use case only type of chains. They're really only designed for light snow. They are a ladder pattern style chain, which means they go straight across your tire, and they are cable rollers. So typically ladder patterns are helpful for starting and stopping, but they make your ride a little bit bumpy. The rollers will cut down on some of that bumpiness, but also cut down on some of that bite that they would usually have, which is why we say that they're for that use. Additionally, they're made of a low carbon steel, so not the most durable construction, probably not going to get a ton of use out of them. Because they are that roller style though, they are also low profile and they're Class S compatible, which basically means they won't have any issues with the clearance of your wheel well or coming into contact with anything back there. The chains do come two to a set in this pretty thin sort of nylon bag that we honestly have found that if you roll these back up, they're typically pretty tough to get back in there. So we recommend if you get these chains, picking up some sort of plastic tote, something that's easier to store them in, that's also going to keep them more safe and keep the weather out. The installation of these chains isn't super difficult, but you will have to get under your tire, or if you want to do it a different way, you're going to have to roll your tire onto the chains. So either way, it's going to be a little bit tricky, but we recommend practicing it in your garage if you have the opportunity to, just so that you're not on the side of the road stranded before you have to figure out how they work. That being said, it's not too tough, and you can watch how we did it now. To start the installation, we first like to lay the chains up flat just to make sure nothing is caught or tangled. Also, we want to make sure that this lever is on the side facing us because we'll have to use that later. And we want to make sure the chains are facing the right way. You can do that by seeing these hooks on the end. As you can see, this part has that pointed edge. This part is just flat all the way through, so we want this side making contact with our tire. Once we have everything centered up, we can grab these chains here in the back and just drape them over our tire, doing our best to keep them as centered as we can. Just going to make our life easier once we have to make our first connection on the back side. The chains have a little bit of memory in them, so they can be a little bit stiff, but eventually they'll work their way around and we can get to that connection. We'll just feed this metal stud end through this catch plate. Try to get to the second one here in our case, and we want to make sure that this hook again is facing away from the tread. If we had enough slack, we could connect it to the catch on this side. We don't in our case, but that's what it's there for. If we don't like where it's at, we can come back and adjust it after the connection on the front. All we need to do is fit this metal stud in through this catch plate, go for the second one again in our case, and then we lever it back and connect it on the other side. We always recommend grabbing one of these rubber tensioners with these types of chains because as you're driving, they're not going to self-adjust. All you need to do is pop them on similar to how you would put a tire on or take it off, making sure those hooks are facing away. Try to get into a ladder or a star-shaped pattern, getting it around as evenly as you can. Doing our best to avoid some of the connection points. Might not always be super straightforward, but again, this is just going to help keep our tires secure and the chains on while we're moving. Once you have the tensioner on, that's pretty much it for the installation. Just make sure you get the chains on the other set of the passenger side tire as well. Roll forward and backwards a few times just to make sure that everything is secure and you're ready to hit the road. Overall, these Titan chain cable snow tire chains are going to be a good chain for that emergency case use only, just light snow. The installation of these chains is a little bit easier than some other cable style chains, but if you need something that you're going to have to use more often, I recommend looking at something from Koenig. They have a lot of diamond pattern style chains which get you more coverage and a lot of assisted or self-tensioning, so you don't have to pick up this rubber tensioner as well. But this was just a look at how the Titan chain cable snow tire chains fit and how you install them on the 2023 GMC Yukon XL.